Extracts are created from the dimension inspector by users with participant, read permission, or better on a viewpoint. You can select any active viewpoint for the dimension, then name the extract and give it an optional description. When you create an extract, it is created as a private extract and you cannot change the visibility from the create screen. If you have the owner or metadata manager permission on a dimension, you can promote your private extracts to public. The extract type enables you to extract either all the data from a viewpoint, the changes to data over time, or to extract hierarchy information in separate columns. Note that you cannot change the extract type after the extract is created. Let's create a full extract first. After you have created an extract, you can edit it to change the general extract settings, select the columns, and modify the formatting options. On the General tab, you can change the name, description, the file type, and the default file name for the extract. For Excel files, you additionally specify the sheet name. Optionally, you can choose to extract data in a zipped format. For public extracts, you can specify that these extracts are for system integration purposes only, so that they are not displayed in the viewpoint extracts report and can only be run from the application list. Also for public extracts, you can configure a connection and its parameters as well as test the connection before saving. On the Columns tab, you specify properties to extract. For full extracts, only the core name property is included by default. You can include any other property needed by the consuming application. You can also add specialty columns such as constants, unique ID or timestamp of the extract, incremental record number, or name of the user running the extract. For full extracts only, you can specify a property to pivot on in the extract file. Only one property can be pivoted in an extract. Full extracts also enable you to designate a column as a primary key column. You can designate more than one column as a primary key column. Use the sort column to configure the sort order of the rows that are written to the extract file. You can specify one primary and one secondary column, and you can sort the rows in ascending or descending order. You can use the actions column to remove or reorder the extract columns. The Options tab enables you to specify the options for creating the extract file. You can define an optional node filter expression to limit the nodes extracted from the viewpoint. For example, you can create an expression that limits the extracted nodes only to the descendants of the sales node. For Excel and text files, you can specify whether to include keywords for null and empty strings. For text files, you can additionally specify the delimiter character, line feed style, and quote handling. For string data type properties only, you can select the character that separates the string to pivot on or select specified and enter the delimiter character. If you include custom headers or footer, you can enter substitution parameters in them. When you run the extract, the value for the parameter is inserted into the extract. For example, if you enter date in the custom footer, when you run the extract, the current date is inserted into the footer. Finally, you can select data format options such as the negative sign, thousands and decimal separators, how to display Boolean values, the allowed value properties, time zone, and datetime formats. Now, let's look at incremental extracts. On the General tab, in addition to common settings, you specify the start and end periods for the extract. For time, you can choose the current date and time when the extract is run. Enter a specific date and time. Enter the number of days before the current date and time, or date since the last extract was run. By default, the Columns tab includes two columns, the core name property and action code. For property type columns, you can use source type values to specify whether the values of the property is based on the from version or the to version of the viewpoint. Selecting the combined option defines a property value based on two versions of the viewpoint if it is available. Otherwise, the property value is based on the from version of the viewpoint. For incremental extracts, you can add the same property again. Adding property more than once allows you to have different columns for the from and two values of the same property. Use the compare and output columns to decide whether a property column uses compare logic to determine if a record for this node should be included and whether the column should be output. The action code column lets you record what actions were performed on the node. On the Incremental tab, you can specify the label for each action as well as the actions that you want to extract. The tab also lets you configure other incremental options for the extract. Finally, let's look at specific settings for generational extracts. On the Columns tab, like for incremental extracts, you can have different columns for the values of the same property. In this case, the source type values can be specified for a node and its ancestors. For generational extracts, you can also configure options such as the maximum depth and the balance fill that enables you to output an unbalanced hierarchy in a balanced format. The ancestor column order option controls whether ancestors are output from top down or bottom up. This video is a part of video learning series on extracting data in enterprise data management. Check the description for links to the entire series. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.